Can my little cutie quail go out of their coop? It's a really great question, and I want to answer why I really don't let them out. There are times that I let my little guys out and they roam in the yard, usually 2 at a time, no more than that. I have 22 quail currently, and it is always supervised. Now, the reason why it is always supervised is because my fence is not secure. They can easily get under my fence, and they could possibly fly over my fence. There's also no protection from predators, so if a hawk were to come by, which we do have many hawks, we see them daily, they would snatch one of my birds up so quick. Quail are considered prey. They do not have a lot of defense mechanisms. Typically what they like to do is hide. I did mention that they could possibly fly over my fence, but they can't technically fly. They more so just hop themselves up in the air and use their wings to get a little bit of height, and then they glide. So what that means for them is if a hawk comes by, they cannot easily get away from them. They can't simply just fly in a different direction or up in a tree to protect themselves. The obvious reason of the fence not being completely secure for them is they will get out and wander and roam, and I could lose them just because they get lost or, again, predators. People who are not familiar with quail, when they see my quail in a coop like this, they immediately think that the quail are not happy because they're not out and about in the wild, in the open. They're cooped up in this small little thing. But that is not the case. This is actually where they feel comfortable. Quail prefer to be in smaller spaces where they're out of predators' way. Quail only need 1 square foot per bird, so they don't need a lot of room for themselves. So this coop may seem small for 22 quail, but in reality, this coop can fit about 36. A lot of people also say that the coop is too short, but that is again people who aren't familiar with quail, and I love to educate. Quail actually need a coop that is either 2 feet or under, or 6 feet and higher. Nothing in between. And the reason for that is because these guys like to jump, and when they jump, they can jump up to 5.5 feet in the air. And what happens when you have a coop that is over 2 feet in height, if they jump and hit themselves and it's under 6 feet in height, they can actually break their necks, which is how a lot of people who didn't do the proper research end up losing their quail. I do have a little sunroof for them right there on the top of their coop so they can sunbathe if they would like to. This part of the coop is completely covered. If it's raining and they don't want any rain, then they can just come over here. I also keep their food under the covered part so it doesn't get wet during the weather. And then they have a little hutch on the inside, which is where they love to lay their eggs. They feel most safe in there, and they can also go in there to sleep at night if they would like to. They actually really love their hutch. Now, with that being said, I do want them to be able to free range or kind of have more of a space out in the open for themselves. So I am currently looking at options in my yard to see how I would be able to do that for my quail safely. I'm currently looking at greenhouses. My cat is yelling at me. Sorry. I've been looking at greenhouses though to put in this garden box that we really don't use, and then keeping my quail in there. The greenhouse is over 6 feet in height. There's plenty of room here, and I could fit over 80 quail in here if I wanted to. That would give them more sunlight, and they would get natural dirt in their environment. I do give them dirt from my garden to give themselves dirt baths, which they absolutely love, but this would give them other things to kind of forage around in because they do like to forage. And in order to stimulate foraging for them in the coop that they have now, I do throw worms into their hutch, and they love going in there and pecking away. But for now, this coop does its job perfectly, and my quail are happy in it.